Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I've said on this platform that Zimbabwe is a failed state. I think this is a reality that no one can deny. Maybe one of the reasons why we are a failed state is that we've failed to pay attention. We are a failed state and we don't seem to even notice it. Ian Smith said it in his own way when he said that blacks will never be able to rule themselves. They will be walking on sewage and thinking it's normal. Admit it or not, I think it is true. We've seen a lot of bad things happening in the country, and somehow we've turned a blind eye to it. Make it appear as if it's normal. Since the country's independence in 1980, the country has been going down the tube. Basic services like education, healthcare have all but collapsed. Millions of ordinary Zimbabweans are living in abject poverty. How is it possible in this day and age that anyone would call such a structure home? And yet we do. Some of the country's leaders, like Edson Shobro, identified the problem. And Edson Shobro called it the Mozambique syndrome. This explanation was during the time of the Liberation War when they were in Mozambique. He said that when his fellow ZANU-PF colleagues, if they lose the argument, they'll start accusing you of being a CIA. And it was a way of avoiding the substantive issue. We've seen this happen after independence. It is quite common for ZANU-PF leaders and their supporters to call all their critics puppets of the West. And the opposition have since adopted the same system as well. If you dare criticize the opposition, you will soon learn that you become a public enemy. And in this case here, you are called a ZANU-PF agent, a CIO. I think it's just repeating the same Mozambique syndrome by another way. The country's economy has gone down the tube in the last 45 years. And at the present moment, the nation is stuck in a rut. And yet we cannot address the root causes because each time you try to address the issues, instead of addressing the problem that you have brought up, and arguing whether or not it is a valid argument. We go down this Mozambique syndrome one-way route. You are accused of all manner of things. What I want to emphasize here is that this Mozambique syndrome has not helped the country, because the problem of the failed state has remained with us. If anything, the situation has got worse and worse. I think there's no doubt that Zimbabwe's biggest problem is mismanagement. We have failed to manage our own resources. Here is Margaret Thatcher, the late Margaret Thatcher, talking about how some nations have prospered, whilst others have not.
Countries are not rich in proportion to their natural resources. If they were, Russia would now be the richest country in the world. Angola would be very rich, and there are many other countries that have a lot of natural resources, but they have not had an enterprise economy to develop those resources. Russia has everything: oil, gas, diamonds, platinum, gold, silver, timber, marvelous soil, but has been poor. She's also, on the second point, got very bad environment, the Aral Sea. I remember going to one communist country in about the 60s and seeing a power coming out of a chimney of brown gas, which of course is a nitrous gas. And I was absolutely horrified. I said, well, what are you doing letting that happen? The lungs of the people must be terrible. This is acid. You can't let that go on. Tact has never been my strong point, as you know. And it is the countries that have had the wrong system, which have not created the wealth, have not cared about people. Look at the other side. Japan, no natural resources. Switzerland, no natural resources. Taiwan, no natural resources. It is the political system which enhances the enterprise of the people and gives it a framework within which to operate, which will deal with this poverty.
Of course, she is right. We in Zimbabwe, we had the misfortune of having corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical thugs in 1980. ZANU-PF has failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. As much as the people have realized that ZANU-PF leaders are corrupt, incompetent, and they will keep taking the country nowhere, they were stuck with the regime because the regime rigged elections. It's that simple. ZANU-PF leaders believe they have the divine right to rule the country. And so rigging the elections to stay in power has been as natural as breathing to them. Here is a world liberation hero in her own right, Margaret Dongo, talking of why ZANU-PF still considers its rural areas its stronghold.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why? the rural people vote for ZANU-PF? One, they're intimidated. Two, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor, because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. Because at the moment, if you economic empower these people, they'll go out of hand. ZANU-PF will never have control over them.
One explanation why we are a failed state. We had the founding fathers who never wanted to be held to account. And so they've instituted a de facto one-party state. And they've ruthlessly imposed it on the people. We had the chance. We cannot deny that in 45 years of our independence, we never had a chance to end the ZANU-PF dictatorship. We did. Unfortunately, that opportunity came to the wrong people. Morgan Tsvangirai and his MDC friends have failed to implement even one token democratic change in 25 years on the political stage. Not even one token reform. This is at the heart of our problem. During the 2008 to 2013, it was the golden opportunity for them to implement those reforms. They failed to implement even one because Mugabe bribed them with the trappings of high office, and they forgot about the reforms. What has made the situation worse is that the ordinary people, the ordinary Zimbabweans out there, even now with the benefit of hindsight, they have failed to realize that MDC leaders sold out. Because when the GNU failed, the MDC CCC leaders encouraged the people to participate in flawed elections, knowing fully well that the process is flawed, knowing fully well that participating will only give ZANU-PF legitimacy. They told the people they've devised ways of winning rigged elections. That was a lie. Unfortunately, the people themselves failed to realize that that was an idiotic lie. And so the nation has been participating in flawed elections to perpetuate the ZANU-PF dictatorship. We are a failed state because at one level, the ZANU-PF ruling elite have imposed a de facto one-party state. At the second level, the opposition has sold out. Instead of implementing the reforms, they've sold out. They failed to implement even one reform, and worse still, they've conned the people to participate in flawed elections out of greed. Unless the people of Zimbabwe sit up and pay attention, we are stuck. The solution to our ending our failed state is there. We only need to open our eyes. think about it. Just wanted to bring to your attention that tomorrow we usually have a discussion, and the link is available on the bottom of your screen there. But tomorrow we will not be having a discussion because we'll be out of town. We hope to be able to join us on Sunday, same time, 6 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Zimbabwean time. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good day.